What's going on? It's Zach from the crew, and today we're going to be showing you how to get your fogged up headlights looking brand new again. So these aren't too bad, but you can see the streaks in it. You can see them all over. So today we're working on a buddy's Mazda RX-8, and that's one that we just did, and this is the one that we're gonna start doing now. So let's get to it. So now the stuff that you're gonna need some 800 grit sandpaper. Make sure it. Okay, so the stuff you're gonna need 800 grit sandpaper. You're gonna need 1,000 grit sandpaper, and make sure it's a wet or dry sandpaper because we will be wet sanding it. You're gonna need painter's tape to tape off the paint so you don't scratch up your paint. If you don't really care, then you don't really need the painter's tape, and you won't need this either. But if you do care about getting your paint scratched up, you need some painter's tape. You'll need something to mask around it. This is just newspaper that's been balled up. And then a rag to dry them off. If you don't have the rag, you can always use paper towel, or you can just let the sun do it. So let's get to the masking part. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is you got to get your painter's tape. And you want to get deep inside the edges, kind of like this, so you aren't getting any of your paint. And when you do that, it's going to prevent you from scratching any of the paint. So you want to get in as many crevices as you can. Now you can take the headlights off for this, but it's going to be a little bit harder, mainly because you can't really get the stability as you can when they are on the car. So after we get this all taped off, we'll come back to you and we'll show you the next process. Okay, so now that you have taped off the entire headlight, then now it's going to come to the process of wet sanding. So what you're going to need for wet sanding is you're going to need to get a hose, and then after you get the hose, you're going to want to come and grab your 800 grit sandpaper, and then you're just going to want to lightly turn on the hose and get it wet, get your headlight a little bit wet, and then get your sandpaper wet. Then you're going to come down and you're going to keep going in one simple motion. So back and forth, and then after we back and forth the whole headlight, we can start and go up and down, and then probably crisscross it, because you want to get every single piece, because you might do this and put more pressure down on this side and just not even be putting pressure down on this finger, so it's not going to gum evenly. So that's the point, to wet sand and do more than just one direction. And you don't want to do swirls. Do not do swirls. You can do swirls, but I wouldn't recommend it. So just go across, up, down, and then at a zigzag. So when we're done with this, I'll come back to you, and then we'll show you the next step. We got the whole headlight sanded down. It doesn't look like it's sanded yet because it still is wet. So now after you sand that down, you're going to come and get your 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then you're going to sand it down with the 1,000 grit so it's a little bit more smooth. And like I said, you're going to keep going back and forth like this. Then you're going to go up and down, and then at a zigzag. And that's going to give you the best turnout. So when we get done taping it off, and when we get done sanding it down, we're going to tape off the rest with the newspaper, and then we'll be ready to clear coat it. So very quick, before I start to tape off that headlight, you can see it's got a hazy look to it. And that's what you're going to be expecting. Because after you do a shot of clear on it, it's going to shine it right up, and it's going to protect it, and it's going to last like that forever. But make sure your clear coat, I mean, it doesn't have to, but if it's not one of the non-yellowing or UV resistant, then it will not be forever, but this one will, because it's the non-yellowing UV resistant. So that's just a quick little thing, and we'll see you when we get to it. So as you can see, this headlight looks like it's basically brand new. It looks very good, because when you take a look at that one to this one, you can really tell the difference. You really can. And that's just one coat of clear coat, and that's all you're going to need. So we accidentally got all of our paper wet, so we have to just use a double coat of tape, but fuck them. So now once you actually get that done, you're going to shake up your can. And it's always nice because, hopefully I can get this in. There's these little indents. You might not be able to see it on camera, but that's how you know your can's shaken up properly, is when you get all the indents on it. Because once you get those indents, as you might be able to kind of see, you can kind of see all the lines and you got some indents in it. Once you see those is when you know that the can's shaken up. So always, this is what I like to do when your can's done, just give it a quick little spray, and then you're going to come after it. And then just do a coat on it, and then you can already see it shining up already. And that's going to be it for this video. So if you liked the video and it was helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.